Coming up on today's show, Dan will be giving his thoughts on Top Gun Maverick.
We'll be speaking to Miles Teller and Joseph Kaczynski.
And we'll be going through this week's big releases, including Top Gun Maverick, but also Bob's Burgers. Hello and welcome to What's On at Cineworld Cinemas. I am Luke Owen.
And is that my camera, Dan Layton?
Dan, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much.
You were so busy last week with TikTok.
I do have something to call you up on though, because even though I wasn't here,
You watched the episode.
I do watch the show.
Well, thank you.
And you told Ollie that I smell. And I will take jokes about my sartorial choices. I will take jokes about many things. I will not have anyone say that I smell. I pay too much money on fragrances to smell. I smell of Tom Ford. Thank you very much.
I can't say anything. I'm currently wearing a t-shirt that's been in our studio for about 5 weeks now and it's been worn by 4 other people.
Come on. Spring for a wash.
I took it home yesterday by accident. I thought I better wear it back into the office because I need to put it back in the studio.
Have you got a t-shirt to wear home?
Yes, it's
Okay,
the t-shirt
good.
I was wearing yesterday.
Just going to go topless on the way home because, you know,
And sometimes
it's a shirt shortage in the UK at the moment.
it's what sometimes the M20 needs.
Yeah.
As I drive home. Anyway, we're going to talk about Top Gun Maverick.
Yes.
Speaking of topless lads.
Well, indeed, everywhere, all over the place.
Yes, you saw it yesterday.
Yeah. So here is some tea for you.
T-shirt.
Hey, very good. Have never seen Top Gun. I've never seen Top Gun. I don't know what happened. There's a lot of classic, like, you know, big time movies that I spent a lot of time watching Spice World. So I didn't see Top Gun. So yesterday I watched it for the first time because I knew I was going to be at the first screening of Top Gun Maverick I could get my hands on. And I tried to go and see it in my big shiny IMAX screen, the one that I love, but it was sold out, which thrilled me.
Oh yeah, le gasp. I mean, it is doing very well. Numbers
Yeah.
this film is doing.
I was so pleased to see how many people wanted to get out and see this movie. So I just went to the just a normal screening, tucked at the back, had myself some nachos.
I mean, the reviews for this movie are amazing. Screen Rant said, Top Gun Maverick is a rare sequel that is not only better than the original, but retroactively makes Top Gun's story altogether deeper. Vanity Fair said, in the vacuum of Maverick's 130-minute run, a disarming wistfulness and friendliness give interesting shape to what could have been a pointless rehash. Collider said, Top Gun Maverick improves upon the original in every conceivable way and does so in a way that might just make this one of the greatest sequels ever made.
I agree with all of those things. I think what's interesting, please.
I was going to, well, because we've had some big sequels in the past, you know, Godfather Part 2, The Empire Strikes Back, Back to the Future 2, you know, movies that arguably improve upon the first one. Is this one of those movies?
Back to the Future 2 improves on Back to the Future 1.
I mean, I did want to use it as a punchline, but there is also part of me that, when I was a kid, Back to the Future 2 was my favourite of the trilogy because it's the one where they go to the future. That was the exciting bit.
I like 3 because
they go to the
Western.
Yeah. Well, I like the futuristic stuff because it was
That's
2015 felt so far in the future in 1992.
How disappointed were you when it arrived? I completely agree with all of those things. I think it's really interesting. Sequels are... It's the law of diminishing returns, the same jokes over and over again.
Yeah, The Hangover is really bad for that.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, the Austin Powers movies, which I love all of them. But they do the same jokes.
Not throwing any shade to the Austin Powers movies here.
Beyonce's finest hour, thank you.
And Michael Caine's.
And indeed, I do feel that. All right, my son.
You haven't even got a name badge. You stand no chance.
But when it comes to Top Gun Maverick, what's really interesting is it has been such a long time since the original came out, and Tom Cruise's whole career really has built in a way to being able to revisit this property, because this was right at the beginning of his career, the original Top Gun. He was like 24. I think he was so young when it came out, and so much of film history has happened since. Technology in film has moved on, the way we think about storytelling has moved on, and Tom, as an actor, he was already great, and he's added bits and bits and bits and bits to his strings to his bow.
Yeah.
And all of that is brought to Top Gun Maverick. And what it is if Top Gun is a movie, Top Gun Maverick is a film. Like, it is getting such good reviews, and it deserves them all because it adds heft and emotional stakes and really makes you feel things it is silly where it needs to be silly, and it's okay with that. It leans into that. There's a great football sequence on the beach, which harkens back to the infamous volleyball sequence in the first one. And yet those moments of levity and lightness and silliness are matched by real emotional, thoughtful, grounded performances and stories, to the point where in the final action sequence, I was full body clenching. I was so tense, because in the first one, it really is just, okay, we're going to fly around a bit and some stuff happens. With this one, we have a plot, we have a thing that needs to be done, and you may not make it out alive. Go. And knowing that it is a real film where these effects are practical, and obviously there's VFX, and the VFX in the film are fantastic, but there are real, live planes.
Well, that's kind of like what's quite unique with Tom Cruise movies. Mission Impossible.
We've got the new trailer for that as well, which I saw before this, which again is his whole thing is we've got to do it real.
And that's exactly it. Yeah, and he's sort of like the last of that era of like 80 stars that is just like, and now we are going to, like, if I'm going to fly a plane, I'm actually going to fly a plane.
He insists.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If I'm going to run down the street, I'm actually going to run down this street. I'm not just going to stand in front of a massive green room. Like,
I'm going to hang off the Wiz Khalifa.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's not what it's called. I just realised that I haven't briefed you on this. The Burj Khalifa, I call it the Wiz Khalifa because of the rapper. It's not the same thing. He wasn't climbing Wiz Khalifa. He goes to the movies. Do you know this? He goes to the Cineworld in the O2.
Is he really?
I think I shouldn't say that on camera. He goes to. He spoke about this recently. He goes to movies in disguises just to see movies, which I love.
Yeah, I mean, and that is really cool about like Tom Cruise stuff. And what I kind of I'm excited about with Top Gun Maverick, aside from your review here and the reviews that we went through earlier, is that we have had a lot of these 80s properties then are getting retrospective sequels many, many years later. And we're getting it with like 90s properties as well. Jurassic World is getting its third movie coming out soon, which came off the back of a 2015 kind of reboot. Star Wars is another one. It just feels like
Avatar 2, even.
Exactly, yeah. I feel like every other month we are just getting like, here's an 80s property, and a studio executive decided, well, that was popular 30 years ago, let's do a sequel.
We're going to go on this nostalgia run.
Exactly, yeah, and we're just going to do a sequel to that. And very I won't say very often, but it could very easily just be cash grab, cynical. We're going to do the Goonies too. Why? Well, because the Goonies was popular 30 odd years ago, and we're just going to bring the same stars back, boom, and here they are doing a film. But what I kind of like appreciate about Top Gun Maverick, and by what you're saying, and by what these previous reviews are saying, is that it's not just being done as a cash grab thing. It's being like, well, what story can we tell within Top Gun? What does Top Gun look like 30 years later? And what's a great story we can tell through that? That's not just, whiz-bang action sequences.
Well, the original conversations about there being a sequel to Top Gun started in the early 2010s. There were ideas of... It was Tony Scott was talking about how the aviation, the war aviation industry was very different. Drones and things like that were coming in, and how does that affect, this industry, I suppose. And then obviously Tony Scott passed away, and it was developed in new ways, and it's been in development now for over a decade. And because of that, because they've taken the time, because they've really been thoughtful about this, all of that is within the movie. It's a very considered, thoughtful thing about, exactly what would happen 36 years later. Where are these people? How does, we've got... And when Miles Teller rocks up looking exactly like Goose from the original, it's like seeing a ghost. It's kind of hokey, of showing some archive footage in the film. That's a bit where I was like, okay. But even that, I'm still somehow sucked into it, because it means something to the characters in the movie. And I think that's the kind of crucial part of when you are going to take a property like this and go back again, is really thinking about what it means. Yeah. Really exploring, okay, well, he still holds on to this grief, and now he feels a protectiveness towards Goose's son. But also, they're military people. We have to do these things sometimes. And that's the emotional state that runs through the whole movie. And Tom Cruise is really good in it. It's Tom Cruise. You forget this. He memes himself sometimes, but he is a fantastic actor. Jennifer Connelly is great in it as well. She's got that look. There's a shot of her in the trailer where she's just standing looking, and she looks gorgeous, and it's so movies. It's so Hollywood. Hollywood is back. Like, I love Jerry Bruckheimer films anyway. I'm a massive... My favourite film of all time is Pirates of the Caribbean. Singing in the Rain also. But very different movies.
Although, if only Jerry Bruckheimer had produced Singing in the Rain.
I would love to see it.
Yeah.
But Pirates, I'm literally wearing the pirate medallion under here. You can't see. I should get it out. I'll show you. Look, just for proof. There it is.
Yep.
There's my Pirates medallion. I love Pirates of the Caribbean. Anyway, that's for, just to prove myself. But I love Jerry Bruckheimer movies, Pirates of the Caribbean, National Treasure.
Armageddon.
I mean...
Come on now.
But like he the Lone Ranger, but there's something about that kind of like big. It feels like an event, It's Hollywood, and we've been cynical for a long time. And with Doctor Strange, and with Spider-Man, and now with Top Gun Maverick, we're getting earnest, real Hollywood movies. Things like Everything Ever All at Once was earnest as well. There's something about the joy of telling stories that really shines through in Maverick, and I think people are going to have a great time.
We recently had the chance to sit down with Miles Teller and the director Joseph Kosinski, and here's what they had to say. Here's what they had to say while making Airplanes.
Oh, brilliant.
And yeah, I mean, Goose he's such a vibe. And so I really just tried to keep the vibe, keep the vibe going.
One of my favorite parts of this film is we got to design a jet that may or may not exist, which you see at the beginning of the film. Have you seen the movie?
I have seen the movie.
Okay.
It's incredible.
So the first plane that we see Maverick flying in the movie was designed in conjunction with Lockheed Martin, and particularly a secret division of their company that makes top secret airplanes called Skunk Works. And I got to work with the engineers and designers there to design that airplane, and we built it for real.
That sounds a lot more complicated than the little planes that we're building.
Yeah, but look at I got one done.
Yes, amazing. You've got to shoot it across the room anywhere you want.
Okay, I'm going to throw it at Catherine.
It is a big movie. I mean, the amount of effort that went in technically to make this film and to be able to deliver it to audiences and to capture all I'm just hitting her with all of really is that's what you want. And if I'm taking a little more time to answer this question, I'm very passionate about it, but also I just want to make sure that I could finish all of these planes in time. So yeah, it's just a wonderful movie, and get out of your house.
Tickets are available for Top Gun Maverick, which is out today. It's available in 4DX, ScreenX, IMAX, and Superscreen, as well as VIP.
Oh, I love a little VIP. Those chairs are very comfortable.
We've also got Boonie Bears Back to Earth, and a movie I'm legit so excited for, Bob's Burgers.
The floor is yours.
The movie. Right, so I love Bob's Burgers. Mm-hmm. When I got married,
Were you dressed as a burger?
Oh, I wish. But
Did you serve burgers? Was the cake a burger?
No, we did pies, actually.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
But when I did my wedding speech, I was talking to my wife and I said, "You're the Mary Jane to my Peter Parker, the Marge to my Homer, the Linda to my Bob Belcher."
It was in your speech.
It's in my speech because my wife and I love watching Bob's Burgers together.
Nice.
We think it's so fun. It's got some of my favorite characters in animation ever.
Yeah.
And I just love the entire world of Bob's Burgers. I love the sense of humor about it. It's so utterly silly. And they love musicals. And they love musical numbers. It's like every episode has a different musical number to it. They've released multiple albums of all the music from Bob's Burgers and stuff. And it is just one of my favorite TV shows ever. Yeah. And I'm so excited that the movie is here, and I cannot wait to see this. Also out this week is Everything Everywhere All at Once, Firestarter, Doctor Strange,
Downton Abbey, and The Lost City.
Look, I suppose it's quite obvious what your pick of the week is.
Yeah, it's Top Gun Maverick. I think that I will be honest, I didn't expect to feel the way I did. And I know that I do this with every movie, but I did have a cry. I had a cry.
Look, Dan, I would love to have Top Gun as my movie of the week as well.
But it's got strong competition.
It's come out in the same week as Bob's. I can't not vote for Tina Belcher.
Please, by all means. Well, it's nice to have... We're so spoiled. The riches of the cinema-going experience.
Tina Belcher is a hero of mine.
Who would be your movie crush?
Who'd be what, from Bob's
Tina
Burgers?
Belcher?
No. Linda Belcher is obviously she's the real crush of Bob's Burgers. Yeah.
But if you're going to compare your wife to her, I would hope so.
Exactly. And my wife also loves to randomly burst into song. And it is voiced by a man. But yeah, Bob's Burgers the movie is my pick of the week.
Good.
And Dan, you went on the show last week because you were filming for TikTok.
Can you believe me
Well, you're so
young again.
You're so young,
I'm
Dan.
so young. Like, I mean, I just FFS, don't I? The youth and the radiance.
It's because what TikTok did is they went into Google, they typed in who is the youngest influencer
Who is the youngest and most special?
in London,
And I pop up.
Dan Layton.
I paid a lot of money for that to come through. So we were down in the 4DX screen in London's glittering West End, the Cineworld in Leicester Square, and we had a whole bunch of TikTokers come down to experience 4DX for the first time and see all of the joys and the delights that it has to offer, because there is a brand new 4DX TikTok trailer, which will be playing, I believe, before all of the 4DX movies, encouraging you, for the only time it's allowed, to get your phones out and share your experience of what's going on. There are 3 different settings. There's catwalk, there's an alley fight, and with ninja cats. And then there's a shipwreck, pirates, where you're thrown underwater. And it gives you the full gamut of all of the 4DX, all of the heaves and the pitches and the sprays and the bubbles and everything. And you can experience it and share what it feels like. And then you put your phone away and the movie can begin. Yeah. It's a really fun time. And what I really loved about it, especially because there were some people who had been to 4DX before, but there were some people brand new popping their experience for the first time and getting to see them react to these to the ankle ticklers and to the sprays was so much fun. And then they got to have a real good time.
We've got some big 4DX movies coming out as well. We mentioned Top Gun Maverick earlier.
Which that is a 4DX movie. Like that, if you want to be thrown around all over the place and get everything, it will be in Top Gun.
Yeah, Jurassic World as well. I've seen Jurassic Park in 4DX.
Me too.
So I'm very, very excited to see the new Jurassic World in this.
We also saw the new trailer for Jurassic World.
Ooh.
I was one of the first people to see it.
Did you really?
It was so much fun.
Because again, you're so
I'm
young.
so special. Also, I just got there early. So like the all of the different bits and bobs and seeing all of the excitement with the dinosaurs and the spraying, it's all great.
And another 4DX movie out very soon. We've got a brand new trailer for it this week. Thor: Love and Thunder.
Oh my god!
What a trailer!
Oh my god! Oh my god! Like it's so shiny. It's so. How did you get a big kick out of him in his new with the headpiece?
I got a kick out of pretty much everything in the trailer.
We got our first proper look at Zeus.
We did, yes.
Yeah.
We got our first look at this. Felt like the first proper trailer for the movie. But this again, we talked about this with the release of the first trailer, which is that like it's so close to the release of the movie. We didn't have to wait very long before the release. Trailer number 2.
And I don't really want to see much more. I kind of want to, I'm going to be doing this a lot. Because
That's it. Like me when I went for the trailers for The Last Jedi.
Exactly.
Head between your legs, fingers in ears.
Hidden away.
And tickets for Jurassic World are currently available for pre-order, available in 4DX, 3D, IMAX, Super Screen, and VIP, as well as Elvis and Minions: The Rise of Gru.
I'm very excited for Elvis. It's already, the first reviews have started to drop, or the first takes. And they're all quite positive. I saw another trailer for it yesterday before. We were spoiled with the trailers before Top Gun yesterday. There was Bullet Train was there as well.
Oh, cool.
That was fun. Mission Impossible, of course. And the trailer for
Mission
Elvis.
Impossible Part 1.
Mission Impossible. So, okay. Let's talk about Mission Impossible very briefly. Because it's Mission Impossible 2, Mission Impossible 3, then Mission Impossible 4, Ghost Protocol, then Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. But because I was already on it, I started calling it Mission Impossible 5 Rogue Nation. That then became a meme among my friends. So what we are currently on is Mission Impossible 5 Rogue Nation 2 Fallout 2 Dead Reckoning Part 1. That's what I'm calling it.
Also, I think it's worth mentioning as well that Mission Impossible itself has colons between Mission and Impossible.
Yeah, that's true.
Then another one.
Yeah. And then numbers, and
then Part 1.
It's a linguistic nightmare. It's it really is. But very excited for it. And then the trailer for Elvis looks fantastic. The new Doja Cat song is on that. That's another thing I'm loving about movies at the moment. Between Maverick with Lady Gaga and the Doja Cat song and Elvis, we're getting songs for movies again. I'm really into it.
I was thinking about that actually on the way here because I found my old iPod recently.
Yeah.
And I was listening to it. I had it plugged on in the car. And TURTLE Power by Partners in Rhyme came on for the original Turtles movie from 1990. And I was sitting there thinking, and it made me start thinking of like LL Cool J for Deep Blue Sea and Will Smith for Men in Black. And I was like, we just don't have songs for movies.
And Wild Wild West he did as well.
He did.
Yeah,
Wiki Wild Wild West.
Wiki Wiki Wild Wild.
Jim West. Desperado. Rough Rider.
You know that.
No,
This
you
is
don't
your
want
karaoke
that.
song, isn't it?
And of of course, tickets are available for Prima Facie on 21st of July. But that is all we've got time for on this week's edition of What's On at Cineworld Cinemas. Please do click the link in the video description down below to check out any of the movies that we have discussed today. And if you like these two idiots talking a bit more, there's more audio waffle in the podcast version of this, available on all podcast platforms. We will see you in 7 days' time. I have been Luke Owen.
And I have the need to move at a reasonable pace. Dan Layton.
And that's What's On.